Midnight light on a dim-lit screen, clicking through stories you wouldn't believe. Cold case trails and courtroom scenes, whispers from the grave and media dreams. Truth is stranger, hearts beat faster in the shadows of a news disaster. Scrolling deep where secrets hide, you found the stories time won't deny. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods clubs to breaking news lines, you shine a light where the silence lies. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Small town rumors and urban fear, a voice for the lost who can't speak here. Through every name, through every case, you hold the truth in a steady place. Cameras roll but justice lingers, truth unravels through careful fingers. You tell the story, speak their names in a world that's quick to look away. Headstones and headlines, the tales collide. Justice and mystery, side by side. From backwoods crimes to great night trials, you trace the echoes through every mile. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Some run from the dark, you walk right in with a question and a camera lens. It's not just a crime, it's the lives they led. The voice is still talking from the books unread. Headstones and headlines, the veil is thin. Truth gets louder when you begin. With every view, with every line, you bring the forgotten back to life. Oh, headstones and headlines, you dig where the truth won't die. Yeah, headstones and headlines, you tell the stories that time can't hide.
Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. I just remembered I need to bring the trash out later. I cannot forget to do that after my live. How is everybody? I had today off because I had to go to an appointment quite a ways away, and it reminded me of how much I hate driving on the highway. But I did get some, how do I want to put this? I guess just desserts, because I was trying to merge onto the highway and, I was running out of space. And so this car was coming and I thought for sure they would slow down to let me merge. Nope. They actually, Birdie, don't do it today. Don't do it. She just came and meowed like, hey mom. Nope, not today. Anyway, so I said, I hope somebody stops you, because just a jerk. Well, further up the highway, so maybe about 10 minutes later, there were troopers all over the place today. I don't know if it was like hang out on the highway and catch speeders day or what, but what do you know? The jerk who wouldn't let me merge got pulled over. So I'm like, there you go. And it wasn't even that big of a deal. It was still like the on-ramp. So like I merged onto another on-ramp that merged onto the highway. Anyways, that made my day, because I'm like, that's what you get for being a jerk. That's what you get for being a jerk. But it also reminded me that I hate driving on the highway. Absolutely hate it. And I did it for years. So thanks for being here. This case is just getting more and more interesting. Another lawsuit has been filed against Ursuline High School, not related to the football team. It is, so we may be talking about this case for not only this week, but into next week, because, you know, Ursulines seem to want to keep things quiet, but people aren't being quiet anymore. People are not standing for what has been done, and hopefully it won't happen again. So I did see Narcos here. Thanks for being here. Evil Queen. Lindsay Lee, thanks for being here. Sinner, yes, Instant Karma. And there was actually 2 jerks on the highway, but that one was a really big jerk, because the on-ramp, you shouldn't be going. He was going pretty fast though. So I'm like, I'm just going to slow down, because there's no sense in trying to, you know, beat him to it. But thankfully the truck behind him let me in. Just jerks. But he'll have a nice ticket, because he had to be going. So the speed limit where I was at on the highway was 55. He had to have been going at least 80. He was flying. So anyways, we're going to get started because we have a lot to cover. I did want to first just give a quick update. Kimberly Sullivan was scheduled to be in court today. However, her defense has filed 2 motions and her court date has been postponed. So we're going to take a look at this quick. I got rid of myself again. We will get right into the complaint. Hey, Silent Angel, thanks for being here. So, Waterbury stepmother's court date postponed. Defense files 2 motions. The court appearance for Kimberly Sullivan, the Waterbury stepmother accused of imprisoning and starving her stepson for over 2 decades, has been postponed to October 3rd, 2025. Sullivan's legal team has filed 2 motions seeking to modify restrictions placed on her during the ongoing case. One motion requests permission for Sullivan to return to her home on Blake Street to retrieve her personal belongings, arguing the current protective order is too broad. The other motion asks to end her GPS bracelet monitoring, citing no violations or risks or flight risk, and claiming the condition stigmatizing. Here's the thing. People don't need to know that you have an ankle bracelet on. You can cover those things. They're not big. So maybe she should have thought about her stepson's rights when she decided to, you know, keep him captive with no food or water. Sullivan faces serious allegations after her stepson was found weighing just 68 pounds, having been held captive for 20 years. And I believe, if I remember correctly, he was 32 years old. Let me just look up. I haven't talked about this case in a while. Pretty sure he was 32. Yes, 32. She is 56. And she pulled him out of school, I believe, when he was 11 or 12. That would make sense, because 20 years. The case has drawn significant attention as legal debates continue over access to the victim's medical records and other key evidence. The next court date is set for early October as the investigation and legal proceedings continue. So that is an update on Miss Sullivan. What is wrong with these people? And, everybody is, I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was, but I had seen that Agenda Free TV went live. And so I asked Sinner, I asked Pookie, and Pookie had to Google him, but then Sinner knew who he was. And there's like everybody and their mother is now talking about this Charlie Kirk. And I can't help but think, where were all of these people when that young Ukrainian girl got stabbed on a train? Where was the outrage? Where was the immediate outrage that this 23-year-old girl who was just riding the train ended up dead because of some madman who should have been in prison? A repeat offender that should have never been on the streets. I don't get it. I don't think what happened to Charlie Kirk should have happened. No one deserves that. Yet at the same time, neither did that 23-year-old girl. It's just, it makes me mad that one person seems to be so much more important than another because of who they support. But that is for another time. That is for another time. We are here to talk about Ursuline High School. You don't know this is a big deal. Well, everybody who dies is a big deal in my opinion. But anyways, I don't want to get political. I'm just saying, everybody who is murdered or assassinated should matter as much as the other person. Okay, so moving on. So the first thing I want to just share before we get into the complaint itself is another lawsuit has been filed against Ursuline High School. Family sues Ursuline High School under Title IX for failing to protect daughter from football players' alleged sexual harassment, stalking, and violent assault. Violent assault, stalking, sexual harassment. And when I looked at this just quick, I didn't realize that it was a football player. A football player. So here, the football team is again making headlines. So this was posted today, and thank you to Silent Angel. She did give me a heads up on this, so I was able to go and check it out before the live. Suit, daughter pleaded with Ursuline assistant principal Margaret Demore. So you're just never going to help me? And Demore responded simply, no. So this takes place Youngstown, Ohio, Mahoning County. Today, a minor female high school student, through her mother, filed a federal Title IX civil rights lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Ohio against Ursuline High School, Assistant Principal Margaret Demore, Athletic Director John DeSantis, the Catholic Diocese of Youngstown, and an Ursuline student identified in court as Ursuline Player 6 and his parents. The suit alleges the student violently assaulted, sexually harassed, stalked, and menaced the girl. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more lawsuits being filed. Hey, lunatic, how are you? I had seen on Twitter people were reporting he passed. I hope that he did not. However, I didn't realize when I was watching the video. I thought the news, the news was going to pause. They didn't. To be honest, I don't know how anybody could survive that, but that's just me. Sunnyside, it was confirmed. Okay, I had seen it. I don't remember the person's name. It was with a local news source. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, back to this. So violently assaulted, sexually harassed, stalked, and menaced the girl. Oh, hey, Silent Angel. This young boy needs help from day one, and the school administration failed this girl in so many ways. Seems like they're failing a lot of the students that are instilled to educate and protect them. Title IX is the federal statute that prohibits sex discrimination and sexual harassment in education in retaliation for opposing it. The complaint alleges that school officials intentionally failed to act even after the mother and daughter notified them because the player was a, quote, venerated star football player, end quote. The lawsuit uses pseudonyms for the alleged victims. In the filing, the family is identified as Mother Chef and Daughter Chef. So allegations: violence, harassment, stalking, menacing, indifference. According to the complaint, a pattern of predatory sexual harassment and violence began in June 2023 when daughter Chef and Ursuline player 6 were freshmen. The lawsuit states that player 6, a 6-foot-tall football player, repeatedly solicited sex and nude photos from the petite under 5-foot-tall female student. At the time, she had just finished grade school and was still playing with baby dolls. Okay, this is... what's the word? It's a little dramatic. When she rejected him and blocked him on Snapchat, his harassment allegedly escalated. The complaint alleges that on the last day of summer gym class, player 6 chased daughter Chef, picked her up, violently dropped her on the ground twice, and dragged her across rough turf for 30 feet. What the hell? The filing says this caused serious injuries. I would think it did. It would, including severe turf burns on her back. Mother Chef reported the attack to school officials. The complaint alleges that DeMoore and DeSantis, both of whom are legally mandated to report suspected child abuse, were notified but failed to report the incident to Children's Services or law enforcement. The filing quotes DeMoore as having, quote, strongly advised Mother Chef against filing a police report and promising her the school would, quote, handle it and separate the students that fall. Separating them does nothing. It does nothing. Hey, Pookie. Hey, Lunatic. Oh, Lunatic I said hi to already, but hi again. Contrary to that promise, the complaint alleges Ursuline placed daughter Chef and player 6 in the same class in the fall of 2023. The harassment allegedly continued, with player 6 stalking and menacingly ogling daughter. The filing recounts repeated reports from daughter Chef to school staff and corroborating complaints from family members. All the complaints alleges disregarded by school administrators. When daughter's older brother, an Ursuline graduate, contacted DeSantis to express concern and disappointment, the complaint quotes DeSantis's dismissive text message response as, quote, the situation you mentioned happened 4 months ago. If there is something going on, she needs to report it to me on Monday morning, end quote. The complaint alleges that within days of daughter's report, player 6 loudly called her a snitch and told classmates within earshot of daughter. She tried to get me in trouble, but she failed. The filing contends player 6 was emboldened by a school culture that elevated football as a false idol and discouraged accountability. Player 6 felt he could do anything to daughter and get away with it because Ursuline administrators made him feel that way. I agree. Daughter's complaint also highlights a prior incident in which a coach told a former student that coaches, quote, have to make tough choices to protect the better players to win games, end quote, cited as evidence of the school's prioritizing football success over student safety. And the suit alleges that assistant principal Margaret Demore retaliated against daughter for her legally protected activity of complaining about player 6's conduct by imposing disproportionate discipline on her for minor transgressions compared to other students, and certainly relative to the total lack of consequence for football player 6's alleged brutal attack on her. So you're just never going to help me. In reaction, the suit states, daughter pleaded with Demore, so you're just never going to help me. And Demore responded simply, no. After 2 years of ongoing harassment, inaction, and retaliation, Mother Chef sold her home of 28 years and moved to a different school district so daughter Chef could transfer for her safety, the complaint states. Okay, and then it gets into related litigation and school response. So this has to do with the complaint that we're going to continue reading today. So it seems that Ursuline is going to be facing a lot of court dates going forward. Alrighty, so we're going to get through as much as we can today, and then tomorrow, I did already schedule the live stream. It will be for 4:30 Eastern, and I foresee this also going into Friday because it is 200 pages long. And it'll depend on how long my voice can talk. Okay, so Ursuline's football team attends 9-day out-of-state camp trip, taking 41 players under the supervision of only 3 coaches. And we ended yesterday talking about the assistant coach, was it McGlynn? McGlynn, yes. And seems that he was doing some things that weren't appropriate. Hey, Caudle, how are you? Ursuline's football team attended a 9-day bus trip from June 12th to June 20th, 2025. The trip included visits to Auburn University, the University of Alabama, Florida State University, the University of Florida, Disney Springs and Water Park, the University of South Florida, and the University of Tennessee. Ursuline approved of this trip. Upon information and belief, Ursuline, at all relevant times, received federal funding as contemplated by Title IX. Ursuline is responsible for ensuring that its employees are properly trained and supervised, and that its students, including Son, are safe. And for those of you who may not have been here my past couple of live streams, I should have summarized this case. A freshman boy alleges that he was severely hazed, sexually abused, and the complaint also names kidnapping, dissemination of child pornography. I feel like there was another word, tampering with evidence, and then there was something else, and I don't remember exactly what it was. So there were 11 football players named and their parents. So, it's, and I do have my banner, but as always, viewer discretion advised, because there could be details that could be triggering to some. Okay. The responsibility extends beyond the 4 walls of the school to extracurricular activities, including school-sponsored sports-related trips. Defendants head coach Reardon, assistant coach McGlynn, and assistant coach Christian Sirianudis were the only adults on the trip and were responsible for supervising the 41 football players in attendance. Ursuline, through defendants Reardon, McGlynn, and Sirianudis, have the actual authority to prevent and respond to hazing assaults and their players' Title IX violations. Defendants' failure to properly plan for and supervise were contributing factors in the harm caused to Sun and the other victims on the trip. As part of some claimed camaraderie building idea, Reardon had the players room with different players each night, including housing freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors in the same hotel rooms. Although Reardon's son, a freshman, was on the trip, he did not participate in the camaraderie building rooming arrangement. Instead, he roomed with his father most nights, if not every night. Because Reardon's son stayed with him at night, his son managed to escape the hazing, physical and sexual abuse, and humiliation to which other players were soon subjected. That's interesting. I wonder if his son voluntarily stayed with dad, or if dad, being, dad, the way he is known to be, forced his son to stay with him, knowing full well what was going to be happening. Hey, Nanny. Hey, Marie. How's it going? Interesting. Soon after departing from Ursuline, while still in Ohio, and throughout the entire trip, several of the upperclassmen players openly discussed the hazing and initiations that would take place during the trip, including, quote, taking butts, stripping fellow players, and other forms of abuse. What the hell? The phrase taking butts refers to the stripping, degradation, and humiliation of players. The upperclassmen players also openly discussed, as part of the initiations, having players fight each other, with the loser, quote, getting his butt taken, end quote. This initiation is akin to the jumping in initiation done by criminal gangs, in which prospective members must be beaten and assaulted by other gang members before gaining gang membership. Silent Angel says, what I have heard is a rumor. It was said father knew what was going on. Honestly, how could they? I mean, I feel like there's some things obviously coaches aren't going to know, but based on their prior history, I think that he knew full well what was happening. Maybe not to the extent that it was happening, but especially with the text that we saw yesterday, where the one player had said, stop talking about the gay shit because the coaches said to knock it off, something like that. Actually, we're on page 26. I'm going to zoom up. I just saw it. Right here. So I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all actually have to stop like the gay shit in the rooms, because the coaches know and said that shit better fucking stop. And then someone said, bro, dead ass. So it seems like the coaches knew what was happening in the rooms. Evil Queen says, I think he chose to do nothing. Defendants' failures to properly plan for and supervise were contributing factors in the harm caused to Sun and the other victims on the trip. As part of some claimed camaraderie building idea. Oh, wait, I already read that. Oopsies. Okay, I just went to page 26 and started reading. Okay, so the players' discussions of hazing, initiations, and taking butts occurred in the presence of Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianudis. While still on the bus to the first destination, Cyrianudis even said, quote, don't say that stuff to me. I don't want to hear it. Yet the discussions continued throughout the trip and in the coach's presence. The hazing initiation butt-taking talk was not just idle talk or boasting. It soon became a reality, or more fittingly for Sun and other victims, a nightmare. Despite the hazing initiation butt-taking discussions occurring in the presence of Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis, who heard and were aware of what was about to occur, the coaches failed to take any appropriate steps to stop or prevent the hazing and violent attacks on the victims. As the trip continued, it became even more obvious that the hazing, degradation, humiliation, and abuse was not a random or one-time ordeal, but a years-long culture of the Ursuline football program, a culture defendants knew well and accepted. The hazing was not limited to the football players, but included obtaining nude photos of female students, posting the photos on the football team's group Snapchat, and rating the females, as well as stories of female students being sexually assaulted. In addition to the illegal recruiting, hazing, and creation and dissemination of child pornography, it is also known throughout the school that Ursuline, quote, pays its players to attend the school and play football. And, the thing is, kids think that, because Snapchat, like, usually once you read a message, it disappears. Or if you post something, it quote, disappears in so much time. But all of this is still in the super cloud. Hey, Dynadoo. Wow. The school itself has also become rotten with violence and drugs. According to at least one former Ursuline student, assaults and fighting are regular occurrences, often resulting in serious injuries. Yet Ursuline administrators rarely held the combating students appropriately accountable, with most, if not all, of them returning to school within days at most. Some of these fights were recorded by Ursuline students and shared on social media. That happens in every school. I can guarantee that's how we know that there's about to be a fight or something else, because, well, now, not anymore because they can't have phones in school. But in the past, everyone would have their phone out ready to record, so you knew something was about to go down. And I see, like, I think it's where I'm at now, it's a 5-day suspension if you get into a fight. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Long time no see. I agree. We are a collapsing nation. I was just saying, like, it's this country is, I don't even know what's happening. You can't go anywhere without being afraid that you're going to die. It's ridiculous. According to at least one former Ursuline student, the selling and use of drugs, especially marijuana, were rampant throughout the school. Students regularly smoked marijuana in the bathrooms and other secreted locations during school hours, and openly in the parking lots and around the outside of the school. Yet Ursuline failed to take appropriate measures to limit and prevent the drug use. Ursuline routinely and regularly covered up the misconduct to keep a clean image, knowing the devastating effects of if the public knowing the devastating effects if the public knew what really happened within its doors. Yet over the past few years, Ursuline has promulgated the nickname the U. The U was a nickname given to the University of Miami back in the 1980s through 90s when Miami football players engaged in flamboyant behavior and misconduct and even criminal behavior. Interesting. But is that why they picked the nickname the U, because of what happened at Miami, or did they just say the U because it was Ursuline? Okay, so here we go. Viewer discretion advised. We're getting into the details of the trip, which we know from my live stream a couple of days ago in the news clips that there are details that may be triggering to some viewers. Day 1, June 12th, 2025. Travel day to the state of Alabama. Son learns that Ursuline football has a years-long history of hazing as part of its initiation onto the team or for players who talk smack, thereby establishing its hazing culture. When the bus arrived at its destination on day 1, June 12, 2025, Alabama, the coaches assigned players to their rooms for the night. Son roomed with player 1, player 2, and player 3 on day 1. Player 23 was also in the room. See, and this is where I wish I had written down notes because I don't remember if any of them were named above. Oh, and there was a footnote. Okay, so the footnote about the U in the backstory led to the creation of the Catholic vs. Convicts shirt produced by the University of Notre Dame students for Notre Dame's Catholics game against Miami Convicts in 1988, in which Notre Dame prevailed 31-30, leading to them winning the national title. This era of Miami football inspired the production of 2 ESPN 30 for 30 shows, The U, documentary 2009, and Catholic vs. Convicts 2016. Player 1 told Son that during the football camp trips, the football players did initiations on the freshmen and any other player who, quote, talks smack. Player 1 then showed Son 3 to 4 videos from prior years. The videos showed Ursuline football players stripping, choking, slamming, and assaulting other players as part of the initiations. The videos were saved to the Ursuline football team's group Snapchat, from which all the members of the group could view, download, and share. Only players were members of the team's group Snapchat, not coaches. Okay, so only players, not coaches. Son was later added to the team's group Snapchat. Because he was added later, Son lacked access to videos, photos, and messages posted before his inclusion in the team's group Snapchat. Player 1 told Son that he was lucky last year's seniors were not still there because they were, quote, a lot worse than this year's seniors. Based on these videos and Player 1 comments, it was obvious that the hazing, degradation, humiliation, and abuse were not a one-time occurrence, but was the culture of the Ursuline football team, a culture that defendants knew and failed to rectify, prevent, or stop. Later that night, Player 4 and 5 came to Son's room for his, quote, initiation. Terrified of the abuse that was about to occur, Son hid in a closet. Player 5 opened the closet, grabbed Son by the throat, and pulled him out of the closet. Player 4 grabbed Son and threw him on the bed face up. Then, Player 4 grabbed Son's shorts and tried to pull them off. Son grabbed his shorts to prevent Player 4 from pulling them off. While Son was on his back, Player 4 lifted Son's legs in the air. Okay, this is graphic, so if you have small children around, I would close their ears or volume down. God, this is hard to read. With his penis erect and visible through his clothes, Player 4, with a repeating thrusting motion, ground into and humped Son's buttocks over Son's shorts. To his horror, Son could feel Player 4's penis. Player 1 video recorded the attack and posted it onto the team's group Snapchat, causing an interstate wiring and communication. Player 4 and Player 5 left the room following the attack. Day 2, June 13th, 2025. State of Alabama. Son is ridiculed by several players for attack and video. On day 2, June 13th, 2025, Alabama, the team attended a 7-on-7 football camp at Auburn University. Throughout the day, in front of defendant coaches Reardon, McGlynn, and Sirianudis, several players ridiculed Son for the prior night's attack and the video. Several other players repeatedly hit Son in the head and told him that he was, quote, going to get his butt took again that night back at the hotel. This phrase meant that Son was going to be stripped naked, assaulted, and video recorded, with the video being posted on the team's group Snapchat. That night, Son lay in bed in terror. But that night, at least, he was not targeted for another attack. Based on information and belief, other players were also attacked that night. That night, Player 4 posted videos to the team's group Snapchat of Player 8 issuing a warning and instructing several other players in the hotel room, quote, "You know what happens when Inaudible talks shit. Do not," end quote. So Player 8, not just issuing a warning, seems like he was threatening people. Don't talk shit or else. Hey, Green, how are you? At 11:44 p.m. that night, Reardon sent the following text message to the 2025 camp trip group message. That is, the players and coaches on the trip. The manager of the hotel just told me that he got a complaint of too much noise. This is the only warning you will get. The whole team will be punished if I get another complaint. The specific complaint came from the 3rd floor. Oh, and look at that. There's the message. June 13th, 2025, 11:44 p.m. So my question is, and this may be answered in the complaint, but my thing would be if I got a phone call or the manager came and told me that there was too much noise in a certain room or a certain area, I would get up and go see what the hell was going on, especially at 11:44 p.m. That's just me. This is the only warning. Okay. Here we go. Lights Out was supposed to be at 10 p.m. Reardon never went and personally checked on the disturbances or complaint, nor did McGlynn or Sirianudis. Well, at the Auburn University camp, several players also stole clothing and accessories from the camp. What? This is absurd. Right, Angel? I would have went to that room and told them to knock it off, and I also would have been in the hall making sure. That's the mother in me. Or just to, I would go through and just check everyone's room and say, hey, do you need anything? Is there anything I can do? Don't forget, lights out at 10. But we have to remember that the coaches, well, at least Reardon and McGlynn, are not the nicest people. They resort to verbal attacks and violence. So, yeah. I can't believe they stole stuff, too. The players openly discussed the thefts and showed the items. Oh, my God. Sunnyside, no. It appears they didn't have any chaperones. They just had the 3 coaches. Day 3, June 14th, 2025, state of Alabama. Son is again ridiculed by several other players. On day 3, June 14th, 2025, Alabama, the team attended a football camp at the University of Alabama. Throughout the day, as with the prior day, several players continued to ridicule Son, hit him in the head, and threatened him that he was, quote, going to get his butt took that night back at the hotel. Again, Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis were present and heard the threats, yet did nothing. Fortunately, Son was not targeted that night for another attack, but player 5 was. Player 6, along with several other players, held down player 5 and ripped off player 5's clothes. Son started video recording, but when he realized what was happening, he abandoned, Snapchat lingo for not saving a video. He abandoned and did not post it to the team's group Snapchat. But several other players video recorded the attack on player 5 and posted it to the team's group Snapchat. Hey, citizen, thanks for being here. Day 4, June 15th, 2025. Travel day to the state of Florida. Son is attacked, assaulted, and stripped by several other players. On day 4, June 15th, 2025, Florida, the team traveled from Alabama to Florida to attend a football camp at Florida State University. Throughout the day, as in the previous days, several players continued to talk about the prior attacks and their plans to, quote, take butts that night. Again, Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis were present and heard the discussion and threats, yet did nothing. While Son was in his hotel room with player 7, player 8 came in. Player 8 took Son's cell phone from him and sent out Son's room number on the team's group Snapchat to alert the players to Son's location. Son, knowing he was about to be attacked again, locked himself in the bathroom. When several other players arrived at Son's hotel room, they forced open the bathroom door, injuring Son's foot in the process. The injury to Son's foot was still visible days later when he returned home. So, if he was locked in the bathroom, that means they destroyed property in order to get that door open? Player 8, player 9, player 10, and player 11 pulled Son out of the bathroom. Player 9 forcibly lifted Son off the ground by his shirt and arms, while player 8, player 10, and player 11 forcibly tried to strip Son's pants and underwear off him. Son shook his head and pleaded no while holding the sides of his pants. Son, who tried to appear strong, wanly smiled in an obvious effort to hold back his tears. Wanley, I think it's pronounced, Wanley. This portion of the attack was video recorded and posted to the team's group Snapchat. And we do have a footnote. Footnote 11. Plaintiffs lawfully possess these videos, which are incorporated by reference, but they are not attached. See evidence disclaimer above. And remember, they had said that many of the exhibits would not be attached because of the content involved. Before player 8, player 9, player 10, and player 11 could completely remove Son's pants and underwear, someone yelled, "The coaches are in the hallway," prompting them to run away. Player 12, who was present for the attack, stayed in Son's room when the other players ran off. Player 12 told Son that he could go to player 12's room to avoid the other players coming back because they knew Son's room number. Son went with player 12 to his room, thinking player 12 was trying to protect him. Oh no. As I was reading that player 12 said he could go to his room to avoid the other players, I was thinking it's a trap. It's a trap. Because player 12, although it doesn't say that player 12 did anything. Yeah, so player 12 didn't do anything the first time, was just present for the attack. Oh boy. So Son went with player 12 to his room thinking player 12 was going to protect him. But player 12 was not trying to protect Son. Player 12 had lied to Son and lured him into another attack. When player 12 led Son into his room, Player 4, Player 8, Player 9, Player 10, Player 11, and Player 13 were waiting for Sun. Player 24 was also in the room. Sun said, "Heck no, I'm leaving," and tried to leave the room. But Player 12 stood in the doorway to prevent Sun from leaving and said, "You're not leaving now." Sun protested and tried to leave, but Player 12 prevented him and said, "It's too late, you're not leaving." Player 8, Player 9, Player 10, and Player 11 immediately attacked Sun, carried him into the bedroom, and slammed him onto the bed. Player 12 stood guard in the other room and watched. Player 10 forcibly grabbed and restrained Sun's left arm and covered Sun's mouth to prevent him from screaming for help. At the same time, Player 11 forcibly grabbed and restrained Sun's right arm. Player 9 forcibly grabbed and restrained Sun's left leg. And Player 8 forcibly grabbed Sun's right leg. Player 13 forcibly grabbed and restrained Sun's right leg as Player 8 grabbed Sun's pants. Player 8, Player 9, Player 10, Player 11, and Player 13 tried to strip off Sun's clothes, but as Sun was trying to defend himself, he fell off the bed. While Sun was on the ground, Player 8, Player 9, Player 10, Player 11, and Player 13 continued to assault him and eventually pulled off Sun's pants and underwear, revealing his nude buttocks and genitals. Yeah, Silent Angel was trapped. Player 12 set him up. Absolutely. Like, this is disgusting. Angel says, "I don't know how any parent who knew about this and thought this is okay. It isn't, and now the child has lost any chance playing college and will be charged." Sunnyside, they're between freshmen and seniors in high school. So high school age. Okay. Sun covered his now exposed genitals with his hands, but the players pulled Sun's arms to fully expose him for the video recording. As Player 10 grabbed and held Sun's arms, exposing Sun's nude buttocks and genitals, Player 9 smacked Sun's bare buttocks twice. As Sun stood up, Player 8 threw Sun back on the ground. Sun crawled to the corner and covered his genitals with his hands. One of the players threw a washcloth at Sun to cover himself, while Player 11 smacked him in the head face. As with the earlier attack, Sun was pleading no while trying to fend off the attack. Sun tried to appear to be strong, but was holding back his tears. And remember, all of this was posted on Snapchat, and the attorneys have all of these videos as evidence. So there's no denying that this is what happened. It's sick. If I was a parent, I would be mortified. Mortified. Player 4 recorded the attack and posted the video to the team's group Snapchat. Footnote 12. And they do say again, plaintiffs lawfully possess these videos, which are incorporated but not attached. See evidence disclaimer above. Player 12, Player 20, and Player 25 saved and transferred the videos in Snapchat. The videos were disseminated over state lines to other Ursuline football players and students in Ohio. The videos were further disseminated throughout the surrounding community. So that's what I had said yesterday. You're only in a group chat, but that doesn't mean that someone else isn't screen recording or downloading or sharing. So these images, or these videos, I should say, in theory, could have gone across the entire country. Player 11 took son's underwear and said they were keeping as a, quote, trophy. Criminals like serial killers and serial rapists commonly take trophies to commemorate and remind them of their criminal achievements. I was actually just thinking about that. Why the hell would you take someone's underwear to keep as a trophy? These kids, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this, and please excuse me if it's offensive, but these kids are sick fucks. There is something wrong with them. There's something wrong. And I agree, just like serial killers and serial rapists, this is what these kids are doing. Hey, Nanya. Angel says, wait until you read the other victim docket. That was a red flag from day one, and not sure why no one helped instead of worrying about. It seems like I don't know if you were here, Angel, but I said I think this is just two of many lawsuits to come, because this is disgusting. Nanya says, I'd raise hell and fight for every possible charge that could be thrown at them. How terrible. Yeah, me too. And the thing is, if the school had done something to begin with, the entire world wouldn't know what a piece of shit they are. Everybody should be talking about this. One of the players threw son's underwear down a stairwell. They have a picture. Wow. Okay. Let me start over. One of the players threw son's underwear down a stairwell. Player 12, the one who had lured son into the attack, posted a photo of son's underwear on the team's group Snapchat with the message, R.I.P. son, meaning rest in peace. So they had R.I.P. and then the boy's name, but he's being referred to as son. What the hell? Oh, that is the stairwell. Oh my God. Son stayed in the room shaking, terrified, and humiliated. Within minutes, several other players who had seen the video posted on the team Snapchat entered the room and ridiculed Son. Son fled to his room in humiliation. I was hoping that it would have a time on it, but it doesn't. Day 5, June 16th, 2025, state of Florida. Son informs mother of the attacks. Mother informs defendant assistant coach Timothy McGlynn. So this is where the coach, the assistant coach, here's, and I'm sure she's got the text messages, because there was something funny, in my opinion, going on between mom of the boy and this coach. Like it was just weird banter. Good question, Annie. What are wrong with these kids? Like I said, they're sick. There's something wrong with them. Silent Angel says, there is another one that is going to be real bad, just from what I heard from a friend who knows the victim. Nanya says, Emmy, you should do a stream about Xander Epps. 14-year-old lost his life after terrorizing a neighborhood. Definitely interesting for later on. Let me just write that down, because I will forget. Xander Epps. Okay. All right, so on day 5, June 16th, 2025, Florida, the team attended a football camp at the University of Florida. Throughout the day, in front of defendant coaches Reardon, McGlynn, and Sirianudis, several other players ridiculed Son for the prior night's attacks and videos. Reardon, McGlynn, and Sirianudis again did nothing to rectify, prevent, or stop the attacks and hazing. Around 5:33 p.m., Son texted mother about the attacks, but frightened, pleaded with her not to say anything to anyone. Mother told Son to tell McGlynn, but Sun refused and pleaded with Mother not to tell anyone. Sun knew and legitimately feared that if Mother told the coaches, the other players would find out that Sun talked about what happened and would retaliate against him and attack him even more viciously than before. I can understand that. That happened to me in middle school. A girl was harassing me, and I had told my mom just because I wanted her to know, and she ended up calling the girl's mom, and it made it 10 times worse the next day. Given the warnings other players had given, his fears were well-founded. Later, Sun and another player went to Target to get away and hide from the other players. Around 8:34 p.m., McGlynn called Mother because he could not get in touch with Sun. At 8:45 p.m., Mother called McGlynn back. During the call, Mother informed McGlynn of the hazing assault and attack on Sun. McGlynn expressed neither surprise nor dismay that his hazing was happening, and he expressed no sympathy or remorse. Rather, he tried to downplay what occurred and made excuses, like there being 41 players on the trip and only 3 coaches. Not an excuse, sir. Not an excuse. That's your job, to supervise. Oh, really, Lindsay? You live where the Xander? This did not excuse defendant's failures in what occurred. McGlynn even went so far as pronounce, "It's just boys being boys." So in McGlynn's view, multiple players assaulting, holding down, and stripping another player naked while another player video records the attack and posts it to the team's group Snapchat, production and dissemination of child pornography is normal and just, quote, boys being boys. No, sir, it's not. In McGlynn's view, multiple players threatening to, quote, take butts and then, quote, taking butts of fellow male players is just boys being boys. In McGlynn's view, compelling fighting by multiple players, I'm sorry, scratch that. In McGlynn's view, compelled fighting by multiple players is just boys being boys. In McGlynn's view, multiple players humping each other over their clothes is just boys being boys. McGlynn's pronouncement was wrong and absurd. And footnote 13, Hari Kondabolu, Boys Will Be Boys, mainstream American comic. Interesting. This is the same McGlynn who thought it was normal to physically abuse his players, threaten to kill another coach, and threaten to firebomb someone's house when he was head coach at Champion High School. He was wrong there and then, and he was wrong here and now. Mother responded to McGlynn's obtuse boys being boys comment, "Need I remind you that hazing is highly illegal and dangerous?" It's too bad she didn't get it in writing. McGlynn responded angrily that they do not condone hazing, a false statement because the hazing has been occurring for years and is still occurring with the coaches being fully aware, yet failing to rectify, prevent, or stop it. McGlynn then claimed falsely that he would take care of it. Mother said that when she would go to the school to pick Son up from the returning bus, she was going to confront the players that hazed and attacked Son, and she was going to report what happened to school leadership. McGlynn retorted that Mother going to the school was crazy and that they'll just tell her to go back to where she's from. What? Wow. Maybe she recorded the phone call. That would be amazing. In McGlynn's world, a mother protecting her child is somehow crazy. but a statement displayed his and Ursuline's conscious disregard for wrongdoing by its players. McGlynn knew that the school's leadership wouldn't care. He was right. McGlynn's statements confirmed that going and reporting to Ursuline would accomplish nothing. McGlynn was speaking from his Ursuline experience, in contrast to Champion High School, which takes hazing and abuse seriously. After the conversation and a failed effort to calm down Mother, to encourage her not to report what occurred to the school, and to cover for his offensive and arrogant remarks, McGlynn texted Mother the following: "I'm not saying anything, 8:55 p.m. My issues is you're brought it to my attention, so I have to address it somehow, 9:05 p.m. I am, but it happens behind closed doors. There are 41 kids on 3 different floors, 9:07 p.m. This did not just happen behind closed doors. The players openly talked about it in front of the coaches on the bus and throughout the camps. The players posted in social media for all to see. Yes, thanks. I'll be on it. Don't worry. 9:10 p.m. McGlynn and the other coaches were not on it. They were aware both before, during, and after, yet failed to rectify, prevent, or stop the hazing and attacks which continued. Nobody else, just from you. Everything is handled. Should not happen again. If it does, please let me know. 10:25 p.m. It did happen again, many more times. And it is not Mother's responsibility to let the coaches know when it happened. It is the coach's duty and responsibility, which they failed. I put word out that it will be me and a ticket back to Ohio on a bus if it continues. 10:28 p.m. It did continue, and no one was given a ticket back to Ohio, nor were they later held accountable. Just so you know, I have to tell the head coach because if something does happen, I can get in big trouble. 10:30 p.m. So Reardon knew. Beyond him being present on the bus and during the camps when the players openly talked about the hazing and attacks, and something did happen and continued to happen. Oh my gosh, here's the text messages. Kudos to this mom for saving these because I clean out my phone maybe like once a month. I'll delete like all the text messages I don't need or don't think I'll need in the future. Wow. Let me just get to chat quick. Yeah, Sinner, that's not just boys being boys. That is an old bad excuse, right? Right, Nanya? Where does he think she is from? Were they an immigrant family? So I'm not sure. I believe they were in a different county. So this is a private Catholic school that recruits football players, and based on this complaint, they pay players to come to Ursuline to play football. So it could be that this family was not from Youngstown, Ohio, but I'm not sure. Because most of the football players lived in Mahoning County, but there were some that were from Trumbull County. So it could be that, but I'm just assuming. Oh, Sinner, my phone won't screen record while on a call. Oh, see, I have I just record the call. I have like an app that's like I don't know what the name of it is, but you can just hit it when you're on the phone and it records everything. Oh, Angel says he just meant the area she came from, not like that. It was wrong to say, but in my town, if you attend Ursuline or Mooney, it's a privilege to play football in their eyes unless your parent pays the school for stuff in order to play. Got it. Their sons and daughters to play or be a cheerleader is what I should say. Right. You don't go back to your side of the tracks. Yeah. Okay, so the boy did come from Trumbull County. Okay, so that makes sense, Silent Angel. He came from Trumbull. my gosh, there was some things not in the text messages. Okay, so let's take a, okay, I can zoom out. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Okay, so Tim McGlynn. Okay, so it says, are they walking? So so it must be, okay, so the coach is the black, the mom is the blue. So McGlynn says, are they walking? Mom states, I need you to please not say anything. I trust you, which is why I messaged you. McGlynn says, I'm not saying anything. Mom says, thank you. I'm just really concerned. McGlynn says, understand. Mom says, I'm not some crybaby mom, and son's not that way either. So I understand why he didn't say anything, but I need to make sure he's safe and not super disappointed in his first experience with Ursuline. Redacted, redacted, redacted. Thank you for being a friend to me. McGlynn responds, my issues is you're brought it to my attention, so I have to address it somehow. Mom says, I was hoping you would just keep your head on a swivel now and see if you hear or notice anything until you get back and I can address the issue and see what I can find out. I don't want to break his trust, but I also do need to make sure he's safe, which is why I told you. Player 16 is aware and is saying he's going to make sure everyone's okay, meaning son and player 22. And then McGlynn does respond, I am, but it happens behind, must be closed doors. Maybe there's, there we go. So he says, I am, but it happens behind closed doors. There are 41 kids on 3 different floors. That my issue. Mom says, so what do you think we should do? I know there are a lot of good kids on that trip too. And he is enjoying the camps. He was telling me all the things he's learning, etc. McGlynn says, let me work through it. I hate that this happens, so we will figure it out. Mom says he's passive to a fault. McGlynn states, he's enjoying the pool right now, so let's just work through it. What? I'm guessing this is like slang. I don't know. Mom says, okay, let me know what you think. Player 22's mom, player 16's mom, and I will just keep our boys on the same page. I'm glad he's enjoying the pool. He was very excited about that, he said. Oh, and then mom keeps going. Okay, so we're right here. Oh, thanks, Sinner, for gifting a membership in Silent Angel. Congratulations. Welcome to the Stoners. Be sure to thank Sinner. Let's see. What did Sinner say? A culture of hazing is common in my part of the country. I'm an hour away from Case. The horror stories of football camp are always swirling. I fear this type of thing is far more common. Terrible. Yeah, I think so. Lindsay said, so crazy to think about, but I bet you're right. Like I said, I pledged in college, I pledged a sorority, and there was nothing. Well, I mean, some of the sororities, we heard stories. Thankfully, the one that I pledged, there was no sexual demands, so to speak. But there was one sorority that you had to collect paper clips to show how many times you did certain things. It was pretty gross. Pretty gross. Okay, so he was very excited about the pool. He's so kind, it hurts my heart. This happened to this magnitude. Some picking I get. I have a brother who was a quarterback, and they did plenty of that. I didn't want to overreact, but I thought I needed to at least make you aware. Message me later. Appreciate you. And McGlynn responds, yes, thanks you. I'll be on it. Don't worry. So this proves that they were at least McGlynn was well aware of what was happening. Mom responds, so this was Monday. So that must be Sunday. Monday, mom says, hey, did someone else's parent, player 14, complain? That was word on the street. Thank you again. I'm happy he's okay. McGlynn responds, nobody else, just from you. Everything is handled. Should not happen again. If it does, please let me know. How did you handle it, Mr. McGlynn? Oh boy, look at this chain. Okay, so then McGlynn continues. Yeah, me and you both. Please tell them, come talk to us when stuff like that happens. I know they don't want to be that person, but people can get hurt. Mom says, yes, I plan on reiterating that when he gets home. McGlynn, hate all boys, just so you know. Mom, I know they probably don't see the severity in their actions, but it takes one step too far and it's unfixable. McGlynn, I put word out that it will be me and a ticket back to Ohio on a bus if it continues. Mom, they called player 16's mom and said, quote, McGlynn was pissed. They don't know it was me, thank God. McGlynn says, nope. Just so you know, I have to tell the head coach because if something does happen, I can get in big trouble. But I handled it, so... Mom, yes, I know he won't say anything to him, right? I mean, not now, maybe later in private would be okay. McGlynn responds, no. Mom responds, okay, enjoy your night. Tomorrow should be a lot of fun. I can sleep tonight thanks to you. I owe you. Again, winky face. McGlynn, anytime. I told them both my room and I'm the hall person. I don't know what that means. Wow. Okay. Fixable is an interesting choice of word. Where did he say that? Fixable. Was it up here? I must have missed that. I don't remember. Oh, Mom. Okay. Mom said, I know they probably don't see the severity in their actions, but it takes one step too far and it's unfixable. Just their entire banter is bizarre to me. And the fact that the coach talks the way he does, like, I don't know. Just weird. I know I just read it. I was more concerned with, I mean, look at, she's hearting, he's doing she did a question mark. Hate all boys, just so you know. She put a question mark, like I don't know, this is just weird. At some point during the trip, McGlynn said to some players, in essence, you guys better delete that shit, meaning the videos. Neither McGlynn, Reardon, nor Cyrenudis took any further steps to ensure that the players deleted the videos. The players did not delete the videos or the team's group Snapchat at that time. Instead, the players continued to disseminate the videos containing child pornography even across state lines. Neither McGlynn, Reardon, nor Cyrenudis contacted law enforcement or children's services to report the attacks, even though they were required to make such a report under Florida Statute Title 5, Chapter 39.201, etc., Alabama and Ohio Code. That night, the team went swimming until around 8:30 to 9 p.m., and afterward, player 14 posted the following message on the team's group Snapchat. Oh, here's that text message that was at the beginning. I'ma be real with y'all. Y'all actually have to stop like the gay shit in the rooms because the coaches know and said that shit better fucking stop. Okay, so that was the same night. So that was the same night that mom and the assistant coach were texting back and forth. Despite player 14's attempt to stop the attacks, the other players disrespected him and continued their illicit behavior. Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis failed to act and stop the attacks themselves. Around 10:06 p.m., Son texted Mother. Somebody on the team was up next to get hazed, basically, and told his brother, and his brother told his dad, and his dad told the coach. The player that Son was referring to in the text message was player 15, whose father, based on information and belief, is an Ursuline assistant football coach who wasn't on the trip. That is very interesting to me. So now more evidence that they knew what was happening. Silent Angel says, according to my friend, said it was going on when we went to this school. I told her I must have been in a bubble at the time. Well, at the University of Florida camp, several players also stole clothing and accessories from the camp. The players openly discussed the thefts and showed the items. So that's where the theft comes in. And the coaches didn't think to ask them, like, where did you get this stuff? How did you pay for it? Day 6, June 17th, 2025, State of Florida. Despite defendant coaches Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis being fully aware of the hazing and assaults, the attacks continue. On day 6, June 17th, 2025, Florida, the team went to a water park. Throughout the day, as with the earlier days, several players continued to issue threats that they were, quote, going to take butts that night. Again, Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis were present and heard the threats, yet did nothing. Son, again, was one of the intended targets. Several players threatened Son in front of coaches Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis that, quote, tonight your hoodie comes off too. Meaning they were going to forcibly strip Son completely naked, unlike the earlier attack when they were only able to rip off Son's pants and underwear, but not his hoodie. Fortunately, player 16 told the other players that Son was with him, meaning he and Son were friends, and that they were not to touch Son anymore. It was reported on June 16th. Is that right? Yes. So it would have been June 16th that, well, it was the mom. I think that was the day before. Let me see. Let me go up. I should be writing this stuff down, but I'm not. Okay, so, yes. So June 16th is when the mom told the assistant coach McGlynn, and then the son of an assistant coach not on the trip also told his dad on the 16th. So they were informed twice on the 16th that this was going on. Yes, it did, Nanny. It continued after that. And we still have 3 days to go. Okay, so it says that night, player 17 posted a message to the team's group Snapchat, like player 14's message the previous night, that the other players had to stop the hazing because the coaches knew what was happening. But the other players ignored player 17's admonition in an attempt to stop the attacks. I wonder if players 17 and 14 were captains. Not that it matters, but I feel like captains are the ones who, relay these messages. Later that night, other players attacked and stripped player 15 in retaliation for, quote, talking smack. Player 15 is the player who, the night before, told his brother, also a player, who told his father, an assistant Ursuline football coach, who told the coaches about the hazing. No one posted videos of the attack on player 15 on the team's group Snapchat. But a photo of player 15's ripped underwear in the hallway was posted on the team's group Snapchat. Throughout the night, several players went to different hotel rooms and humped each other over their clothes. Wow, just wow. That exactly. Like, what is... I don't understand. Also that night, McGlynn texted mother the following. I think he is fine, 8:17 p.m. Son was not fine. He was terrified of being hazed and attacked again. Just had an ice cream with him. He good to go. 10:02 p.m. McGlynn lied to mother. He did not have ice cream with son. McGlynn did tell son that he knew what happened, and if it happens again, son should tell him. But McGlynn took no other rectifying or preventive measures. Why would you lie and say you went to have ice cream with someone when you didn't? Why not just say, I spoke to him and told him if it happens again, he should tell me? Why lie? At 11:34 p.m., Reardon sent the following text message to the 2025 camp trip group message. Warning for the team. If player 8's girlfriend or anyone else's is in our hotel tonight, the entire team will be running tomorrow. If player 8 or anyone else leaves the hotel tonight, the entire team will be running tomorrow. That's interesting. Reardon again failed to physically check on the players despite being fully aware of what was occurring at the hotel each night. Day 7, June 18th, 2025, State of Florida. Despite defendant coaches Reardon, McGlynn, and Sirianudis being fully aware of the hazing and assaults, the attacks continue. On Day 7, June 18th, 2025, Florida, the team attended a football camp at the University of South Florida and went to Disney Springs later that day. As had been occurring throughout the trip and as part of the hazing and initiation, several players forced other players, typically underclassmen, to fight each other, with the loser, quote, getting his butt taken, as they yelled during the fights. The players openly discussed the fighting in front of Reardon, McGlynn, and Sirianudis, but no coach did anything to prevent or stop it. That prior night, player 7 accidentally clogged the toilet in a hotel room, but when it was discovered that morning, player 7 denied doing so even though he had just been in the bathroom. Son also denied clogging the toilet and pointed out that he had not even gone into the bathroom. Player 18 and player 19, the other two hotel room occupants, compelled Son and player 7 to follow them to player 20's room. Oh boy. Not good. Player 18, player 19, and player 20 told Son and player 7 that the dispute over the clogged toilet would be settled with a push-up contest, with the loser getting his butt taken. Son and player 7 started doing push-ups and did not stop. Finally, player 20 announced that Son and player 7 would have to fight it out. Player 7 immediately tackled Son and they started fighting. Son was able to put player 7 in a headlock and just held him, refusing to let go. Eventually, the other player stopped the fight. Neither Son nor player 7 had their butt taken that night. One of the players video recorded the fight and posted it on the team's group Snapchat. While at the University of South Florida camp, several players also stole clothing and accessories from the camp. The players openly discussed the thefts and showed the items. Day 8, June 19th, 2025. Travel day to the state of Tennessee. A player lied about Son, causing several other players to hunt for Son to harm him. On day 8, June 19th, 2025, Tennessee, the team traveled from Florida to Tennessee and attended a football camp at the University of Tennessee. Throughout the day, as with prior days, several players continued to openly discuss the prior hazing and issued threats that they were going to take butts that night. Again, Reardon, McGlynn, and Sierra Nudis were present and heard the threats, yet did nothing. During the day, player 21 lied and falsely accused Son of making a negative comment about another player. Son denied making the negative comment, but player 21 persisted with his lies. Player 21 is defendant coach Sierra Nudis' nephew, and based on information and belief, lied about Son in retaliation and to try to unjustly smear Son. Because of player 21's lies, several other players went looking for Son that night to hurt and haze him for, quote, talking smack. Son hid for the entire night in his room with the door double locked and deadbolted to avoid getting attacked and assaulted again. Son refused to leave his room the entire night, fearful that he would be unjustly and viciously attacked again. Nanya, no, it just, and that's why I say there's, I keep saying there's something wrong with these kids. It means that they would be, like, when you think about, pantsing someone, like when you, like, pull their pants down, like, that's what they're saying. Like, they would be stripped naked. But why they use that verbiage is weird. Yeah. But they do also like to, hump each other with their parts out. That happened the first night. This young boy was assaulted. Sexually assaulted. And to have to hide the whole night. Meanwhile, the assailant players enjoyed the final night of the trip without fear of any repercussions or discipline. At 9:52 p.m., Reardon sent the following text message to the 2025 camp trip group message. 1 second. All right, my voice is getting tired, so we're going to go a little bit longer and then we're going to call it. This might take us a long time to get through. At 9:52 p.m., Reardon sent the following text message. So room 318, player 22, player 20, player 15, player 19. We already got a complaint about the noise coming from your room. Figure it out. That's when you get off your ass, Coach Reardon, and you go see what they're doing. Oh, and 3 people liked it. Reardon again failed to physically check on the players despite knowing what was occurring at the hotel each night. Day 9, June 20th, 2025. Travel day back home to state of Ohio. Son's 9-day trip from hell was finally over. On day 9, June 20th, 2025, Ohio, the team traveled back home from Tennessee to Ohio. On the bus trip home, Son got sick and was puking. Earlier in the camp, Son's leg swelled up. When Mother told McGlynn about Son's swollen leg days earlier, McGlynn blew it off as a bug bite, claiming that it was the South and they have a lot of bugs down there. McGlynn is not a medical doctor or trained medical professional. Rather than take Son for medical treatment, McGlynn gave Son itch cream to put on his swollen leg, even though Son's leg continued to swell up and cause him pain. Wow. McGlynn sounds like a real winner here. I mean, why Ursuline would even hire him after threatening to kill another coach, firebomb a home. Like, oh, here's a picture of the leg. Okay, that is not. Okay, so he says, look at this thing I got yesterday. It's gotten bigger. Hurts to walk to. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Let me see. It's hard to see. Let me. Oh, I can't make it bigger. Let me see if I can zoom in. So it does kind of. Oh, but look at it's like. That's a bruise. That's not a freaking bug bite. Look at that. That's huge. That's not a freaking bug bite. Yeah. After enduring several days of abuse, Son finally returns home. After getting home that night, Son broke down and told Mother everything that happened on the trip. He showed her all the team's group Snapchat videos, photos, and messages. Mother immediately recorded many of the videos from the team's group Snapchat to preserve them as evidence. Good job, Mama. Good job. The next day, June 21st, Mother took Son to urgent care for his swollen leg, where he was diagnosed as having a staph infection and prescribed an antibiotic. Because Son was forced to sleep on the floor several nights, it is believed that he contracted the staph infection from the dirty floors. What? Oh my God. Holy crap. Son's condition worsened over the next few hours, so Mother took him to the hospital emergency room. ER doctors had to lance Son's leg to remove the infection. Oh my God. But it's a bug bite. Okay, but it says, oh yeah, he could have gotten sepsis. I mean, and what if they were still on the trip and the coach is like, oh, here's some itch cream. This kid could have died. Okay, so Mother meets with Principal San Martino and Assistant Principal Margaret Demore and tells them what happened during the trip. On June 22nd at about 10:39 p.m., Mother emailed Ursuline's principal, Defendant Matthew San Martino, requesting an immediate meeting. That's why you always email, need in writing. Request for immediate meeting regarding serious football trip concerns. Dear Mr. San Martino, I'm writing to request an immediate meeting regarding serious incidents that occurred during a recent football trip that my son King, attended with the team. I have become aware of multiple deeply concerning events that took place during this trip, involving issues of student safety, bullying, and inappropriate behaviors. While I will provide the full details in person, I want to emphasize that I have substantial evidence, including recorded material, and I am fully prepared to escalate this to the diocese and legal counsel if necessary. However, I believe it is appropriate to first address this directly with you to ensure that immediate and appropriate action is taken. Due to the severity of this matter, I am requesting to meet with you as soon as possible. My son will not be attending practice or any football activities until this issue is properly addressed. Please let me know your earliest availability for this meeting. Thank you for your urgent attention to this matter. Sincerely, Mother King. On June 23rd at about 7:46 a.m., San Martino responded and set up a meeting for that day at 12 p.m. At about 7:51 a.m., Player 22's mother texted Mother that the team's group Snapchat was deleted, or that maybe her son was removed from the list. The team's group Snapchat was not deleted at this time. Okay. At about 9:20 a.m., before Mother met with the administrators, Player 22's mother sent another text to Mother. So Player 22's mother says, "Which one did you send?" Mom says, "It's okay. I sent the first one. I panicked and asked redacted, and he said that way I didn't let all my threats out in just an email that I need to convey that in person. They messaged back and asked if I could meet at 1, and I have court at 2. So I wrote back to see if noon could be an option, waiting to hear back." The other mom says, "That group chat is gone now." Mom, "Oh yeah? Good thing we saved those videos." Other mom, "Unless they kicked player 22 out of it." Other player's mom, "I just got a call with everything that you said in the email. The whole season is going to be canceled. I understand your frustration and I am empathetic to it. If I were you, I would really think about what you want to come out of this meeting." Here's the don't fuck with our football season. So even before Mother met with Sammartino and D'Amore, defendants contacted parents and issued their warnings about suspending the season, even though defendants never took any such action. Mother and her youngest son's stepfather, met with Ursuline principal Matthew Sammartino and assistant principal Margaret D'Amore. Mother never went to the school before to complain about anything, and although she had previously met both Sammartino and D'Amore, this was the first time she actually had a conversation with them. Until that point, Sammartino and D'Amore claimed not to know what had happened on the trip because Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianudis did not tell them what occurred, even though the coaches knew and had a duty to report such things. During the meeting, Mother provided explicit details of the hazing, degradation, humiliation, and abuse that several players inflicted on Son. Mother questioned why freshmen roomed with seniors, juniors, and sophomores, to which Sammartino retorted, "That's how we've always done it." Mother explained to Sammartino and D'Amore that she has the videos, photos, and messages from the team's group Snapchat depicting the hazing, abuse, assaults, and child pornography. Sammartino and D'Amore never asked to see the messages, nor did they ask to see the videos and photos. Sammartino and D'Amore just sat there and listened, showing no regret, remorse, or compassion, and offering no sympathy. Mother, sensing Sammartino and D'Amore's disinterest in the matter, finally said, "Do you want to see the videos?" Sammartino said she should just email the videos to him. She tried. When the emails wouldn't transmit to Sammartino's emails, Mother said, "How about if I just show you?" Mother had Son's cell phone with her during the meeting. Mother opened the actual team's group Snapchat on Son's cell phone and scrolled through the entire team group Snapchat. When Mother started scrolling through the team's group Snapchat and played the videos, D'Amore got out of her chair and walked over to get a better view. Sammartino just sat in his chair, uninterested and uncaring. The assailant players' faces are easily recognizable on the videos, photos, and messages. Sammartino and D'Amore knew who they were. Mother said, "These are your top players who represent your school. Doesn't that bother you?" Sammartino continued to just sit there and said nothing, showing no interest in the matter. Stepfather said to Sammartino, "Aren't you going to say something, or are you just going to sit there?" Sammartino responded, "I'm just listening." In reaction to seeing the videos, photos, and messages, Sammartino and D'Amore sat quietly, again showing no compassion or sympathy. Stepfather, sensing Sammartino and D'Amore's disinterest, said, "Don't you have anything to say about this? What if this were your child?" D'Amore, finally showing some emotion, confessed and acknowledged, "This is bad." Angel says that Mother sent her message because her son has Many college offers and didn't want this out. Sorry, this mother should be charged because to me it sounded like she knew and didn't care what was going on. Yeah, it's crazy. Damore recorded the entire team group Snapchat, including the videos, photos, and messages, on her own personal cell phone. Other football team players downloaded and shared the team's group Snapchat videos, photos, and messages beyond the football team. From the videos, photos, and messages, Sammartino and Damore knew full well which players were involved and exactly what they did. The players' identities and actions were clearly visible on the videos, photos, and messages. Sammartino and Damore also knew what Reardon, McGlynn, and Serenudis knew, and about their failure to rectify, prevent, and stop the hazing, abuse, assault, and creation and dissemination of child pornography. And C. Well, cancel the frickin' practice, Miss Damore. We'll have to wait and see. Stepfather, astonished that nothing was going to be done, questioned why the football team was still going to have practice. Oh, my mic cut out for a second. Oh, my internet's acting wonky. Hopefully it comes back. Is it better? My internet is still like at one. Okay. This is weird. There's like two of me here now. I don't know what's going on. Can y'all hear me? Look, I can add two of me. Isn't that cool? I don't know what's happening. StreamYard is like not working. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm back and good now. For some reason, it has me in studio. I am in here twice. This is so weird. Okay. Oh no. Okay, there goes everything. Give me 1 second. Share screen. Share. There we go. We're back. Oh, and my other one got kicked out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so stepfather, astonished that nothing was going to be done, questioned why the football team was still going to practice. Good question, stepfather. I said the same thing. Principal Sammartino finally spoke and told mother that he was going to suspend all football activities and investigate the matter. Sammartino told mother that he would tell the diocese and law enforcement. Sammartino later notified Children's Services, which in turn notified Youngstown Police. But merely notifying Children's Services of mother's complaint did not free Ursuline of its obligation to conduct an internal investigation into the hazing, abuse, assaults, and child pornography suffered by the children it must protect. See ya, Silent Angel. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. On becoming aware of the hazing, attacks, assaults, and child pornography son suffered, Sammartino and Damore, as Ursuline administrators, had the authority to prevent and respond to these Title IX violations. Damore wanted to interview son the following day, but mother declined to meet with Damore. It was obvious that Ursuline, Sammartino, and Demore were not interested in conducting a real investigation and handing out any real discipline. Mother instead took son to the Youngstown Police Department to be interviewed. Based on information and belief, Sammartino refused to turn over the team's group Snapchat videos, photos, and messages to Youngstown police without first being served with a subpoena. Oh my God. So, so they had to be subpoenaed to even turn over the fact that they had this information. Hey, Casey. Based on information and belief, foot dragging principal Sammartino has yet to provide the videos, photos, and messages to law enforcement. So remember, this was filed on September, I think it was the 2nd. No, let me look at my calendar. September 2nd. The complaint was filed on September 2nd. This date is around June 20th, June 21st. Yeah, right, Evil Queen? That's what I'm saying. Cover up much? Oh, Nunya. The diocese, we'll get there. The diocese did nothing either. Nothing. So it says at about 3:20 p.m. on returning from the meeting, Mother took additional videos and photos of the team's group Snapchat to preserve as evidence. The football team learns that the season may be suspended because of Mother's reporting of the illicit activities on the trip. When the players arrived for practice that afternoon, June 23rd, 2025, they were informed the non-mandatory conditioning session that night was canceled. Reardon instructed several players that they had to meet with Sammartino, Demore, and athletic director John DeSantis, who is also an assistant football coach. When the players met with Sammartino, Demore, and DeSantis, they were told that there was an ongoing investigation. Sammartino, Demore, and DeSantis further instructed the players not to talk to anyone about what had occurred. Despite having an opportunity right then and there to interview the players and investigate the matter, they did nothing. After informing the players of the investigation and directing them not to talk about what occurred with anyone, Sammartino, Demore, and DeSantis sent them on their way and let them rejoin the team shortly after. Business as usual at Ursuline High School. These assailant players were many of Ursuline's top players. Their absence from the team would have crippled the team's chances at success and been publicly known. Ursuline could not and would not let that happen, despite the players being an ongoing threat to other players and students. Well, guess what, Ursuline? It's publicly known now. And it's just getting worse every time a complaint is filed. Hey, Smokin', how are you? A few of the players were suspended for the next week's non-mandatory sessions, but once mandatory practices began, these players were allowed to fully participate with the football team. The next day, June 24th, the football team returned to its regularly scheduled non-mandatory conditioning sessions. Player 10, not wanting to be part of such a program, transferred on his own from Ursuline to another shortly after. Weeks later, player 8 also transferred from Ursuline to another school. Ursuline, Sammartino, and Demore have had all this information for over 2 months, but have failed to take meaningful steps to address and rectify the atrocities. Even before Mother informed Sammartino and Demore of what occurred during the trip, Sammartino, DeMore, DeSantis, Reardon, McGlynn, and or Cyrianidis notified the football team that the season was in jeopardy and may be suspended. The players learned that Son had told Mother what occurred and that she told Sammartino and DeMore. Defendants and the players were also aware that a criminal investigation was occurring or about to occur. Within hours of Mother meeting with Sammartino and DeMore, several players posted on the team's group Snapchat that Son was a snitch and rat. The players then removed Son from the team's group Snapchat at 8:45 p.m. on June 23rd. This retaliation was a reasonable and foreseeable consequence of the defendants' actions, failures to act, and attempts to cover up the illicit activities. McGlynn also previously ordered the players to delete the videos and the team's group Snapchat. Knowing that Sammartino, DeMore, and DeSantis were aware of what occurred during the trip, coupled with the threat of losing their season and knowledge of the looming criminal investigation, the players deleted the team's group Snapchat that day, June 23rd, as well. That caused the destruction of evidence, another reasonable and foreseeable consequence of the defendants' actions, failures to act, and attempts to cover up the illicit activities. Ursuline, Sammartino, DeMore, and DeSantis likewise removed videos, photos, and posts from Ursuline's Facebook page and deleted other Ursuline football social media accounts, all of which contained valuable evidence for the criminal investigation, resulting in even more evidence destruction. After destroying evidence of the crimes and instructing the players not to talk to anyone about what occurred, Sammartino, DeMore, and DeSantis took no further action. They did not suspend the football season. They did not investigate. They did not interview all the players on the trip. They did not suspend Reardon, McGlynn, or Cyrianidis, even though they were on the trip, were aware of what was going to occur and what did occur, failed to rectify, prevent, or stop the hazing, attacks, assaults, and child pornography, all of which are criminal acts, and then failed to report it to Sammartino, DeMore, DeSantis, or any other appropriate person. Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis likewise failed to take any appropriate steps to address and rectify the situation. Similarly, the diocese has failed to take any appropriate action against Ursuline, the football players, the coaches, or the football team. Well, we know now that after this complaint was filed that, excuse me, Coach Reardon, let me just look. I want to make sure I use the right wording. So Dan Reardon the head football coach, quote, agreed to an indefinite suspension, and the two assistant coaches have been placed on administrative leave. So only after the lawsuit was filed was anything remotely done. By contrast, Champion superintendent, on hearing allegations of abuse by then head football coach McGlynn, immediately placed McGlynn on an administrative leave and ordered him to have no contact with the players or the team. The superintendent then started his own investigation. Defendant's simple referral of the matter to Children's Services or law enforcement and doing nothing more is insufficient. Defendant's inaction permitted Reardon, McGlynn, and Cyrianidis, as well as the assailant players, to have full and unfettered access to the victims and other innocent players. What type of leadership allows the accused to have such access to the victims and witnesses? What type of leadership allows the jackals to have such access to the sheep? Defendants were acting for the glory of the Ursuline football alone, not the child victims who they are duty-bound to protect. Okay, we're just going to do two more just these two paragraphs, and then we're going to call it a day because my voice is getting a little rough here. Based on information and belief, one or more defendants warned the players that the football season was in jeopardy of being suspended or canceled and instructed them not to say anything to anyone about what had occurred, effectively obstructing the investigation of the matter. Based on information and belief, because of defendants' actions, law enforcement has been inhibited by its investigation of the matter, including multiple players and their parents, even the innocent ones, refusing to speak to law enforcement for fear of the football team being suspended and the season halted. Yet another reasonable and foreseeable consequence of the defendant's actions, failures to act, and attempts to cover up the illicit activities. All right, so we're going to end there, and then when we come back tomorrow, we will get into, so this looks like they're going to talk about the code of conduct, which I had talked about the other day when I went and found it online. We talked about what they should have done and didn't do. Aw, thanks, Evil Queen. I appreciate that. Does it say GG? Like good game? Good game. Casey says, I've been watching another football player who was beat up, bad life, threatening, and the school isn't doing anything. It's in Alabama. I will get you a name. Yeah, for sure. Nanny said, I'm sure Coach has already seen the Snapchat videos before Mother showed him. Absolutely. I mean, all right, y'all. Well, thanks for being here. I know it wasn't, the most exciting, and it was really, some of those parts were really hard for me to read, but I do appreciate all of you being here. I will be live again tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern time to continue this, and then next week we will get into the second lawsuit that has been filed. And this, just for those of you who came in a little bit late, that is for failing to protect a daughter from football players' alleged sexual harassment, stalking, and violent assault. And that suit is only about 50 pages, so it should only take maybe a day to get through. Oh, thanks, Evil Queen. Yeah, this is interesting, and I there's other stories that I want to talk about, but I really want to talk about this. For those of you who haven't seen my short that I posted earlier, a 13-year-old was just arrested for apparently what they believe to be a preparation for another mass shooting, whether it be at a school or another establishment. The arsenal that this 13-year-old had is wild. Absolutely wild. And I'm also following, I saw the body cam last night, and I'm like, oh, I need to cover this case. So maybe the weekend we'll take a break from this and talk about that. But this Amish woman, she thought that God needed her son. So she brought him to the lake, and that is where he died. And they said something about her husband as well. So I need to look more into that, but her son died and her husband wasn't around. So the police were like, well, where's your husband? And she was just talking like, I don't know, like, I guess like in tongues. It was very strange, but that's another case that I've been looking at. So definitely keep an eye out for more shorts. I've been slacking lately, but because I'm doing this case, shorts are probably going to be the way to go with the other stories that I just keep adding to watch later. So have a great rest of your day. I know on my way home, I got like the tail end of Sinners Live. I think he's going live later. I don't know what time. Well, let me check because he might have told me and I wasn't paying attention. Nope, he didn't tell me. So Oh, and speaking of, as I was checking, did y'all see the new selfies that have been released of Brian Koberger? Talk about creepy ass mofo. Oh my, I just, like, Brian Etten had it as his thumbnail, and I'm like, oh my God, my eyes, they're burning. Oh, thank you, Casey. I'll write that down too. So Xander Epps and August Gordon. I'll write that down too. And you said that was Alabama. Okay. Right, Pookie. And he never sent them to anyone. The one with him checking new jeans made me look. Oh my God. Some of them were like, actually, I'm gonna torture you all before I go. Give me 1 second. Let me go to We Need a Laugh. I'm just gonna show you Brian Etten's thumbnail. I think that's enough. Let me go to my history. Where is it? All right, let me go to Brian Etten's page. I'll just show you the thumbnail. I'll zoom in so you go. Oh my gosh. And the one with his, like, he's showing his teeth. Like, what the? Oh my gosh. It's wild. Okay, here you go. So before I go, so here's on the left. This was Brian Etten's thumbnail. And like, just so bizarre. Like, what? I mean, that's true. More disturbing selfies. That is absolutely a fact. They were definitely disturbing and creepy. So with that, y'all, sweet dreams. Sweet dreams. I'm just kidding. I know, right, Pookie? Here we thought Emmy liked this. I know. Listen, if I had to have my eyes damaged by seeing those without notice, I'm gonna share the wealth with y'all. So have a great night, morning, day, wherever you are. Tomorrow's Thursday, almost to the weekend. And I've got to say, I wish I had every Wednesday off, because it would make the weeks go so much faster. But sadly, because I was out today, there were some issues in my classroom. The one girl, and it's the beginning of the year, so I get it. One of my students really wanted me to be there and not the woman who was covering for me, and that's a whole deal. But I'll be back tomorrow. So hope y'all have a great day. Oh, I'll have to check it out, Nunya. Melissa Jade. I'll go check it out. I haven't watched her in a while. I miss her. She used to do Wheel of Fortune live streams. I don't know if she still does, but I used to watch them all the time. Anyways, I better go because I'm still talking and my voice is telling me to stop. So have a good night. And until next time, y'all, I'll see you on the flip side.
You have one shot on stage, what you got to play? Generic drops for days, still the people rage. Am I not insane? Can you stop and explain why these drops are so lame? Is money buying you fame? I'm fucking on, I'm killing it with this song. You haters can sing along or go back where you belong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with giving up, moving on. Cause I took your girl to prom, she can't help but sing this song. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out, and my high harass. I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out, can't shut my mouth, till the smoke clears out, and my high harass. I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. time for y'all to hear me. It's about damn time you put some stock into me. You're either sponsoring me or fucking bothering me. And the fact is, we just practice on this madness. That is why your status is like a canvas. Chances our advancement is enhancing, and this new expansion's like a mansion. Comes off till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high progress, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse. Till the roof comes off, till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. And my high progress, I'ma rip this shit till my bones collapse.